We're live.
Good afternoon. It is January the 13th, 2022, and this is a hearing of the House Judiciary Committee and the Maryland House Delegates, our first hearing of the 2022 session. This is going to be our organizational meeting. We're going to go over some of the rules of the road and welcome new members. And why don't we do that right away, because we have 4 new members of our committee this year who are with us, and we'll now begin the hazing process immediately and welcome them to the committee. We have Delegate Faye Howell, who I think is, there you are. I can see on the Zoom. Wave for everybody. There we go. From Prince George's County. Delegate Tolles from Prince George's County is right there. Delegate Munoz from Anne Arundel County. All right. And Delegate Shoemaker, a simple country lawyer from Carroll County, as he's put it on the floor. One of the first times I got to hear Delegate Shoemaker give a speech on the floor, that's how he represented himself. So I'm going to hold him to that. We're very excited to have all of you here with us. It's looking forward to this year and to the issues that we're going to be working on. And so I am going to just get straight to it so that we can get through the rules of the road and I can answer any questions that anybody has. Dylan helped me organize my thoughts here today. Dylan is the assistant to the chair, the chief of staff for the Judiciary Committee. He's here. He has written all of this down. It says here that I am the chair of the committee, so I'm supposed to read that first. So I've done that. Deputy Chief of Staff is Will Shorter, who is on the call as well. Our new vice chair is a delegate from Montgomery County, the pride of Silver Spring, Tacoma Park, and that part of the world, David Moon, who is here waving there. His chief of staff is Janine Johnson. Is she there with you, Dylan, or no? Is she on here? If she's on here, I didn't see her waving, but Janine Johnson is joining us in the suite. Our councils have remained the same. Claire Rossmark is still working with us in the committee. Holly Vandegrift just popped on through the video, and Lauren Nestor still working very hard, and they have been working very, very hard on bills. Please do not yell at them. They're getting them done as quickly as possible. Whitney Ducks, our committee secretary. Denise Messinio is there. That's right, with Dylan in his camera shot there. We also have joining us on the Zoom today is the state trooper who's assigned to our committee, Trooper Ryan Hollinger. And I feel like I may have just demoted him, and I didn't mean to.
That's all good. I'm still just happy to be here. Hopefully you guys can. Okay.
That's great. Thank you very much. If everybody would make sure that you, if you've changed your aides, or just complete your aide contact information form and get it to Whitney by email by Tuesday, we'd appreciate it so that we've got everybody's information. If you'd like to schedule a meeting with me, you can send an email to my, and this goes for the people who are watching this at home, I suppose, too. You can send an email to my official email at luke.clippinger@house.state.md.us. So I'm going to talk about our committee office protocols. They're going to be somewhat similar to what we dealt with last year, at least for the short term, and then we'll see how things evolve as we go from here. The following applies to committee members and staff who do not have a designated workspace in the committee office. Unfortunately, again, this year we have to state that no one is allowed to use the committee room. Please do not ask to hold meetings with advocates or any other meetings in the committee room or our office space. That includes the conference room in the Judiciary Committee suite. You're not allowed to use the committee kitchen, including the microwave and the refrigerator. The kitchen's going to be closed to delegates and staff during the session. No one is allowed to use the committee restrooms unless you work in the suite. And no food and refreshments are available in the committee this session. And we're not collecting funds from members to pay for refreshments. And we do, though, appreciate all of the refreshments that Whitney has purchased us in the past, and have warm memories of them. But in any case, the committee schedule, the committee office will operate Monday through Friday during each week of the legislative session, 8:30 until the business of the day concludes. Denise will answer calls at 3488 until 5 o'clock. If we are operating on a weekend day, we'll give everybody as much notice as we can. Committee bill hearings are going to be on Mondays. If we do Mondays, they'll be in the afternoon. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Hearings will run from 1 o'clock until the conclusion of the hearing schedule. I mentioned Mondays in the afternoon. It is possible. Last year, we did several Monday bill hearing days. I'm not sure we're going to have quite as many of those this year. However, if we do them, my goal will be to have them later in the day so that people who have other jobs can check in at work and then come in. The subcommittees will operate on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays between 11 and 12:30. And judiciary staff will notify members, as we did last year, when vote sessions are scheduled in the committee. And certainly members and staff and everyone else should regularly monitor the Judiciary Committee hearing schedule on the Maryland General Assembly website for updates, additions, and or revisions to our meeting activities. The bill hearing protocols, much like last year, all committee meetings, including subcommittee meetings and vote sessions, will be conducted by Zoom. They will be available to the public. Approximately 48 hours before the hearing, your delegate email account will receive an automatic message that contains the Zoom link to access the bill hearing. The message, this is if you are introducing a bill in the committee, the message will include the Zoom link and a link to the page on the MGA website that will allow you and others to access the YouTube live stream. The Zoom link can only be sent to your delegate email account. Depending on the length of the hearing, I have the ability to allow the committee to take a break for a period of time. We did this a couple times last year, particularly in the first part of session, and I think people kind of liked it until one of the hearings ended up at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and then most of the people didn't like it. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But we may have a break in the middle of the day. If we have a break, we'll post an intermission slide. And members can turn off their cameras. When the break is concluded, you've got to turn your cameras back on. Please log into the Zoom if you can at least 10 minutes before the hearing, subcommittee, or vote session is scheduled to begin. This allows the staff to address technical difficulties. Some hearing participants, both members, committee staff, and witnesses, will be attending these meetings from home. So make sure you're muted on Zoom except when I call on you to address the audience and address witnesses. You are required to have your Zoom video on while attending a virtual meeting. You must, and this is a continuation from last year. Remember, anything written in the chat box is available to be viewed by the public. And so you should be aware of that when you use the chat box. To ask questions during bill hearings, please use the raise your hand feature. The chairman will call on members in the order that the hands are raised. We had a whole series of witness guidelines. You all should have that information. Dylan has given you that information from what we did last year. It's going to be the same way this year for the timing, when people can sign up. We will take up to 50 witnesses maximum for each bill. And we will, again, so for the time frame, for how much time, if bills are reintroduced in the same posture for this session as they were when they were passed out last year, you'll get 2 minutes for the bill sponsor and 1 minute of oral testimony for each other witness. For oral testimony for proposed bills, if we have not, if they're being heard for the first time, basically, we'll give 3 minutes to the bill sponsor and 2 minutes for all other witnesses. As I mentioned, the subcommittees are going to operate on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 11. The subcommittee meetings will be available to be viewed in public on YouTube. Again, you'll get 48 hours and receive an automatic message that contains a Zoom link to access the subcommittee. It'll have that and a link to the MGA website where you can allow others to view the YouTube live stream. And again, it can only be sent to your delegate email account. When the time comes and due to scheduling conflicts, it's possible that the Judiciary Committee won't be able to host all of the subcommittee meetings. For that reason, the staff for our subcommittee chairs will act as the meeting hosts on Zoom. The Judiciary staff and our DLS councils appreciate their help greatly. If subcommittee chairs need stakeholder participation during a subcommittee meeting, Dylan and the DLS councils will provide the Zoom link to those people they identify. And as the workload increases, we may have to schedule additional hearings, and that shouldn't be new to anybody. Voting sessions. About 48 hours before the vote session, your delegate email account will receive a message that contains a Zoom link to access the vote session. The Zoom link can only be sent to your delegate email account. Vote sessions will be viewable by the public via our YouTube live stream. After debate concludes, the chairman will take each vote by roll call. The chairman will call on members and their votes will be recorded by committee staff. You must be visible on Zoom to cast your vote. You must not be driving a vehicle when you cast your vote. Repeat, you must not be in actual physical control of a vehicle when you cast your vote. For those people who are curious as to what the standard is for actual physical control, I would highly recommend you read State versus Atkinson. Have fun with that. Please do not drive and vote. Thank you all very much. Judiciary, going to the hard copy testimony, Judiciary will not provide packets of hard copy testimony for briefings or bill hearings, and no exceptions will be made. These materials and could result in Dylan throwing them at you. That's not written here. I don't think that actually happens. These materials are located on your laptop via the floor system. If you prefer to continue using hard copy materials, you and your staff will have the ability to print and organize those materials in your offices. Did I mention that Dylan doesn't want to do that? He doesn't want to do that. Don't do that. Amendments. This year, you'll also receive your amendments that you request via email to your delegate email accounts. If you request and received an amendment that is related to a bill that is assigned to our committee, you must forward the amendments to all committee members and committee councils. An amendment that has not been received by all committee members and committee councils within 12 hours of consideration won't be accepted. The attending a Judiciary Committee engagement. Again, when you are attending a Judiciary Committee engagement, including bill hearings, briefings, subcommittee meetings, vote sessions via Zoom while operating a vehicle, that is prohibited. If you're operating a vehicle during one of these times and your attendance is required, pull over, park your car, and be present during the meeting. I know that can be challenging, and I know that we have people who and we all want to be on Zoom calls while we're on the phone. We can't do it, and I don't think we should do it, particularly in this committee. So we have one bit of business that we have to do, and this is the same thing we did last year. Normally, when we vote bills out of committee, they have to be reported to the floor within 3 legislative days of the committee vote. Because we have pro forma sessions, it's possible that there won't be a floor session within 3 days of when we would cast a vote. Usually when we vote on Fridays. So what I would move here to begin is that we amend our rules to allow for bills to be presented to the floor and for longer than 3 legislative days from the date that they're voted in committee to allow for those bills to be considered when the House is meeting in full session again. I think I've got that mostly right. Right? Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion on this change to the rules? Seeing none. All in favor of the rule change, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Delegate Bartlett using, I think, the other way. Anybody opposed? All right, that rule change is adopted. Now, if any member of the committee has any questions they want to ask or wants to make any statements, we'll go ahead and we'll take those now. Otherwise, we'll let everybody get back to the rest of their day unless there is something I left off, Dylan. Dylan says I'm perfect. Wow, that's very kind. Delegate McComas.
I just wanted to know when, how soon, or when should we try to get our written testimony to the committee? As soon as we can, to open up within the 48 hours, or I just want to know because I'll be anxious to make sure we get the testimony in, the written testimony,
Dylan.
and the people signing up as well.
Sure.
According to our witness guidelines, and just like last year, when the witness sign up window opens 2 business days in advance of that bill hearing from 8:30 in the morning until 3 p.m., that is when you can upload testimony.
Okay.
Delegate Fay Howell.
Yes, I have a question. I want to know, I'm not sure if I've been assigned to a subcommittee.
We have not yet concluded putting together the subcommittee lists yet. And the reason for that is not to blame Delegate Tolles, but she just got here. So we needed a second to allow her to actually be appointed to the committee. And then we're going to figure out where everybody goes on subcommittees.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Again, not actually Delegate Tolles' fault.
So don't I get first dibs on the subcommittee then?
Do you get first dibs? Wow, you're new. All right. So,
I was trying to be that bad joke. Okay.
yeah, it's fine. No, you did fine. You did fine. I've got plenty of them. It's great. You're fitting in. You're great. You can stay.
Okay.
All right. Are there, it's going so well. Are there other questions for me or for committee staff? Last year, we discovered that this kind of format comes with its own set of challenges, and it certainly was challenging for Dylan and Will and Whitney, and for the former vice chair, for Delegate Atterbury's staff. We're just, at least as we'll reappraise things here maybe in 3 or 4 weeks to see where we stand as far as the latest variant and whether it would be okay to open up the committee offices a little bit. But we'll also, of course, be looking for guidance from the speaker. But that's a long way around of saying also be kind to committee staff, because there's a lot that they're doing right now that they wouldn't ordinarily have to do. And so they're picking up a lot of extra work right now. And I really appreciate them for that. Delegate Fisher.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I have a clarifying question about the use of video footage during our hearings. If you can just remind me, like, I think we did have some video footage. Are you still doing that?
I think so.
The session within a testimony timeframe?
Yeah, I think so. I think that as long as it fits within the testimony timeframe, that's fine. I think that Dylan and committee staff can figure out how to share a screen. You just got to want to prepare and make sure that they have it in plenty of time so that they know that that train is coming, so that they know that the video is coming. They can get that done.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, I think the next time we're going to get together now is next, I believe it's next Tuesday. Yes, I believe, right?
Yes, Tuesday at 11 a.m. for our first briefing.
For the
These
first
updates will be
briefing.
made to the General Assembly website.
We have several briefings. We have some bill hearings next week. And we will, I think we start to get to the meat of bill schedules starting not next week, but the week after. I would encourage you, although I do understand there are delays with bills being returned to members. As soon as you get your bill back, don't wait. If we see a big wave towards the end of, if we see a big wave of bills before the crossover deadline, I don't know that you want to be super close to that deadline this year, but we're going to do the best we can to turn them around and get bill hearings scheduled quickly, but don't wait. Also, don't yell at council. Ever. It's not ever. All right. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, we thank you all very much. And we'll see you next Tuesday for our first briefing. Thank you.